Hi guys, welcome back to my video on the IXO Eiffel Tower. Just basically an update on what I've done so far regarding modifications and basically adding as much extra detail as I can. So I'm happy with the finished result. So one of the things I've done with regarding the optics, because my tower doesn't have the optics in it, but rather than them being redundant and basically not being used, if you actually get the optic and pull off the fibers at the end, you're left with this bulb, just a normal LED bulb. So I decided, and I think it looks really well at night as well, to put them in each pavilion. So you can just see that one there. I change it. Oh no, that's the wrong button. Right. So if now the optics that are missing on the circuit boards underneath are now in use. So red, green, blue, and then off, and then white. So all of this is happening in all the pavilions. You can't really, I can see the lights escaping down the side. Woo. And it's in this one as well, because this pavilion is actually empty underneath. There's nothing inside. So I've done it so the light's not as prominent in the front, because the tower faces this way. It gives a better effect at night, so it's not too overwhelming. But yeah, I thought that was a good idea, basically, rather than just having nothing there. At least you're getting some use out of them. So the other thing I've done, I have painted this section here on the first platform. If you actually look on what's it called? If you look on real photographs, you can see on the top of the first platform, you get this sort of green weathered effect, and I've actually cut in as well with a Stanley knife all the way across the sort of the lats on top, which basically I think it just makes it look a bit nicer, a bit more in keeping with the real tower. Also, I have put this mesh here around, all the way around, because that is on the real tower. And at first I thought it might have been a bit overpowering, because it's hard to get down to the actual scale, but it does look really well. You don't really notice it from a distance, but as you get closer, you can see. Yes. Now, the reason why these are missing, I'll show you in a minute why I've done that. Quite a faff to get them out. I've also taken all the elevators out. What I did as well, because mine's got three elevators in it now. Basically this is the main leg with the elevator, and I just took the base off and made a template of the top, so I can put the screws in. The screw holes are now present, and they're in that back leg there, but you can't really see it. Yes, so it's got a slight. I put a little bit of weathering on the tower. You can see in here. Yeah, very subtle. And so if I go over to the shelf, what have I got on here now? That's the top of the tower, my new version of it. These pieces is what I was talking about on one of my other videos. They're basically parts that you have to bend, and it's a one-time bend. So if you get it wrong, it's going to be a case of ordering new ones, which I've done. I think one of mine is broke. It might not be on there at the minute. So over to the table. Yeah, so the gap that you see around the sides is because on the real tower, on the model, you get these plates, these girders, and if you look at the real tower, behind it should be the same detail as what goes up the leg. So I was thinking about just putting these over the top. So I'm trying to do it while I'm videoing it. So you get this effect. And that's exactly how it looks on the real tower. Particularly if you look on when the tower was being built in 1888, where it gets to the top, they just have this detail. And this is actually a little fact. This was one of the last details put on the tower when it was finished. So you can see photographs all the way up to 1889 where it basically doesn't have these. And I've even got a photograph where they've started to put them on one side, and then, you know. So yeah, I think that's going to look nice with that detail. And then I've took the pavilion off, restaurant or whatever, because I was having issues with the lift, the yellow lift, being nothing but a pain. It kept getting tangled. So I've ended up gluing the end on, which I think I mentioned last time. And then what I've done is, here's the rail. So this section here, the lift was getting stuck, and then just getting, you know, straining the motor, and it just wouldn't go through. Sometimes it would, but sometimes it wouldn't. So I basically, if you look on this one, I've basically stripped the paint from the actual rail pins, the guide pins, because they was here's one with it painted. That's how it comes, and you see there it's slightly thicker. When I was actually doing a dry test running it down the rail, it was getting stuck because of this section here. So I've basically removed the paint, and hopefully that should work now. I've not actually done it, set it up yet. Yeah, these are these pieces I was talking about, spares, and I snapped that bit there. So what I did is I actually put, there's a new one. I actually put some Lego underneath in the middle to support it, making sure it doesn't get in the way of the elevator runs out. This is one of the things I mentioned earlier on the video, which is these pieces here. This is where the elevators press the polarity switch, and if mine when I built it was actually, there was in contact all the time. There was actually just touching, so the lift wouldn't work. It just wouldn't move, even if you know, pressing the remote and things. It just didn't work. So make sure when you fit them, these here, that the metal pins are not touching each other. Otherwise you won't get it working. Yes, so the next time you see the tower, it should be all built up again, and I'll just do a video showing you you know, what it looks like finished. And I've still got other plans for it. I could do with getting a 3D printer, to be honest, because I'm just not happy with this section here. It's just too base. It's just too. There's nothing there really, apart from the restaurant and the lift sections. I mean, you've got the rail here. Yeah, it's just too empty. There's no cross beam supports or anything. It would have been nice with that detail, but I suppose it just is what it is. Oh yeah, and obviously the thing is missing, the intermediate point, which I've actually just realised and found out what that actual purpose of it is. So if you look on this model of the tower, which I pointed out last time, there's the intermediate. Come on, focus. There is the intermediate level, and the reason for that was when the tower was first built. When you went from the second floor, you could only get a lift that went to there, because at those times there was nothing on, you know, being built on this scale and height for, you know, with a lift shaft, the technology at the time. So you had to get to the intermediate point by lift and then walk. Apologies for this bloody focus. And then you had to walk all the way to the top. So that's what its purpose was. It's basically redundant now on the real tower. Obviously the elevators now go all the way from the second all the way to the top. But even like I pointed out, this model's got more detail than the actual IXO model. You know, they've even put like the box section for the lift shaft in there. When you look at the tower when it was first constructed, even all the way through to the 40s and 60s, it was very basic on this section. Very basic. So you get that effect. And then, you know, now the modern tower, it's just so dense and compact with girders and extra parts that have been fitted over the years. I'll put that back there. There we go. Yeah, so that's why I'm a bit like, on the scale of this, because it's so much bigger, it just looks a bit just looks bare. It needs more in it, rather than just having that rail that runs all the way up. So I'm going to try and, I'm going to try to probably find somebody who can 3D print some additional details. Same with the second platform. It doesn't have the higher platform that you can climb by stairs. It's like an overhang. That's not present either on the model. It would look really nice with that. Anyway, enough of me waffling on about bits that I don't want to do. So yeah, next time you see the tower, I'll have pictures of the finished result. I'll try and capture an image at night where it's got the pavilions lit up. Should look really nice. Okay guys, so I'll see you when I see you. Hi guys, just a little update. So I've laid them all out. So four lefts and 4 rights, and the actual holes, the holes here in the corner, a bit dirty, isn't it? Oof. Are not in line with these holes, so I've had to basically, if we can put them together. Now they are. I've had to get the old Dremel out and push through. It's taken quite a while to do this, but we're getting there.